Hello, Dr. Charlie Metcalf here with you. Another book review for you. This is Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. The Disciplined Pursuit of Less, Greg McKeown, book Essentialism. And wanted to just kind of give you a quick book review on this. Got some notes here that I wanted to share with you about this book and kind of reflect on it a little bit. Number one, great story about this book. So I'm going to give it a great view. Love it. Go out, buy it. And here's what I tried to do. I saw about the book. I tried to watch a couple of YouTube videos that just had kind of going through and being able to give a brief synopsis of the book and different points it brings up. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. So then anyhow, I was at a Barnes & Noble, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to flip through this book. Just give it a quick read over. Don't need to purchase it. Just going to read through it and look at it. And so I read a couple pages, and there's a couple illustrations, snap a picture, read a couple more pages, read a couple more pages, and I couldn't resist. And so I ended up going and purchasing the book, and I'm glad I did. Fantastic book. Coincides a lot with the kind of minimalism trend in our society right now, except for here he's saying do it with your life. Like, don't just reduce your closet down to a couple things, but reduce your life down to a couple things. So pursue less things, but pursue the better things. So the subtitle of the book is The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. And he says do this in every area of your life. So a little bit of the Pareto principle there, that focusing on the 20% of our life that brings the 80% of returns. The movement of the book as a whole, he'll talk about the essence of what essentialism is. He'll talk about being able to go and explore things and being able to explore the options. And it's important to be able to explore the options and then to choose. He says that the next movement is to eliminate. So you're eliminating things that aren't important and then executing the most important things in life. So one of the main foundations of the book is that you have limited resources of both time and energy. You cannot have it all. So this dream of like, oh, I'm able to do all these different things and pursue all these different things. I'm going to do them all with excellence. Like, no, you cannot have it all. We're limited. And because we're limited, let's focus in on those essential things. He'll go through and talk about doing life by design, not by default. And so that's a big thing with me about intentional living and being intentional about how we spend our time and our lives and what we pursue in this life. So I'm a big fan of that, life by design, not by default. Some people are just kind of on autopilot out there wasting their lives away. He says to pursue the vital few versus the trivial many. So in life, there's all sorts of things out there, the trivial many, and they clamor for our attention. But he says, no, pursue the vital few. And when you do this, you can cut out even good things without guilt. You can say no to good things without guilt because you are pursuing the very best things in life. Throughout the book, he gives great business case studies that he uses as illustrations. He'll talk about Southwest Airlines. He'll talk about the Eastern Flight 401 that crashed. He'll talk about film editors for Spielberg. So those are all in there, and they're pretty neat and fun to look at. Another key point that stood out in the book to me was this. He said the faintest pencil is better than the strongest memory. The faintest pencil is better than the strongest memory. And so here it's just this encouragement to journal, to record events in our lives, gratitudes, things we're thankful for, faithfulness from God that we're going to go through and journal, and then be able to go through and review those. And so I like that. He also gives a 90% rule. So 90% rule. So here you're evaluating something, job opportunities, clothing, people, whatever. He says scale it from 0 to 100, right? So you give it a grade from 0 to 100. If it's below a 90, it's a 0. If it's below a 90, it's a 0. You toss it aside. You only want to focus in on that top 10%. He'll talk about ways to say no. He'll talk about how habits help to ensure effortless execution, and so how important habit formation is, and looking forward to doing a book review on Atomic Habits sometime soon. And then the idea that we only have now. We only have the present. Make the most of the present. I mentioned before some of the things that really drew me to the book were the drawings themselves. So let's do those. So first of all, the cover of the book, and if you open up the cover, see how that will look for you. open up the cover, you have essentialism with a big fat mess here, right? That there's chaos there, all these different things, and essentialism here going through and saying, hey, here's what it looks like, right? We're going to focus in on the very important things, right? We're going to change this chaos into order to focus in on the very best things in life. Another great illustration in the book. Here we'll talk about energy. And so you see that idea of being able to have energy in all these different directions and not really making any forward progress versus energy here being focused and getting towards our goal. So that was a great one. And then one more I want to end with. This one, there's two different illustrations. So one is here, this idea of forcing a big win. And so you have this little poor guy trying to push this huge, massive force and not making much progress on it, versus the idea over here of creating small wins. So breaking down a task into smaller subsections and pursuing the goal and being able to celebrate those kind of victories along the way and being able to accomplish big things, but doing it in small steps. So overall, pros and cons of the book, there's a bunch of pros. It is it's a great topic. There's great content in there. There's great illustrations in there. It is well organized. So there's a flow to the whole of the book. It is very well written in that there's a nice flow to even the chapters within the book. So really enjoyed that. You don't always get that even in self-help books, but here it's just fantastic. Like I said, I tried not to buy it and I had to. Cons, really not many. I want to poke a little fun at him. He mentioned Stanford too much, so he got his MBA from Stanford, and there's a lot of different Stanford stories in there. So I just wanted to do that. Every now and then he's a little too PC for me, but that's up to you guys to decide. Overall, great book, Essentialism by McKeown. Highly recommend it. Go out, check out a copy, and focus in on those important things in our lives. Focus in on on less, but on the better things. So nice hanging out with you. Hope this review helped you out. If it did, click the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, share it with someone else if it brought value to you. Anyhow, looking forward to some future book reviews with you.